I am a musician, a drummer, and I'm known for speed metal, death metal, extreme metal with a band called Cryptopsy. When I was a kid in France, when I was about 6 years old, I was walking with my parents, and we passed a music store, and I saw drums, and it was kind of intriguing, and so I wanted to go in and check it out, and started hitting around, and just just the beauty of the drums and even like the sounds really intrigued me. So I started taking lessons. And I was always searching for something just a little bit more powerful, a little bit faster, and a little bit more challenging, if you wish, drum-wise. And then I just got into this music called death metal. And I got picked up by a band called Necrosis at the time, at the age of 16. And Necrosis became Cryptopsy. And I've been in the band for the past 23 years. I enjoy doing extreme metal and death metal, but also enjoy doing other things. When it comes to extreme metal, I want to incorporate other elements and more feel to a music that's very kind of in your face and one-dimensional at times. So I try to incorporate more feel and different fills from different styles of drumming, but maintain that power as well. So my drumming is, I'd like it to be all over the place, and that's what I'm trying to attain or achieve. So we'll start maybe, Richard, if you can explain to people what Shure mics I use for what drum.
Well, it'd be my pleasure to do so, actually.
Thank you.
All right. So what we are seeing right now is a classic drum microphone setup. We are using various models of microphones, mainly from the Beta series, with some SM microphones to complement this setup, actually. So if you are looking, first of all, the overhead microphones, these two microphones that we normally placed over the drum set to capture the ambient sound of the drum set. Not the noise, but the sound of the cymbals would be the crash, the ride, or even the hi-hat can be captured by those overhead microphones. We use two microphones actually to get some kind of a stereo image or stereo mix when we reproduce the sound of the drum kit, either in the studio for recording or live for a major concert.
Okay, Richard, I just wanted you to show the people out there what is inside the bass drum, capturing right now actually what I would consider the attack part of my sound.
Right now we are using a combination of two microphones. There is one that is placed internally called the Beta 91. It is a boundary type of microphone, actually with a newer capsule designed to be used in a kick drum or bass drum for its optimized frequency response and sensitivity. The microphone that you see right outside the drum head, right here, is called a Beta 52. Now you may ask yourself, why do we use two microphones for the kick drum? The first one, the one that's internal right now, the Beta 91, it is a condenser microphone. And this condenser microphone, by its operating principle, will give you a lot more attack than resonance.
And there's an EQ switch on the new 91A.
You are right. There's an EQ underneath allowing you to tailor the frequency response to the acoustic response of the shell or the interactive response of the room in which you are playing, actually. So you can play around with that. That switch will give you either a standard flat frequency response.
More attack?
more attack, or there's a little notch that you can use in the second switch position that will enhance the low frequency.
Okay.
Okay, so that's pretty nice.
And this is what the mic in front right now is doing.
The Beta 52 in front right now, we are using it in combination, and sometimes the sound engineer will mix the sound of both microphones to actually get the feel and the sound that you actually are looking for.
The best of both worlds. So you get the attack from the 91.
From a condenser in 91. And a lot of, like we say in a drum word, a lot of oomph, a lot of low end coming from the Beta 52. On the toms, you may notice there's 4 Beta 98 AMP tom microphones. Version we are using right now have a cardioid pickup pattern. So by using the cardioid pickup pattern, it gives us some isolation from the cymbal on top of the tom, because this capsule has a nulling point directly in the back. So
and I like these a lot for 3 reasons.
Yes.
First, the hardware. The mounting, the clamps.
So great.
You can basically mount them on anything. I mean, on the rim, obviously. You can mount them on hardware. You can mount them on tom arms. Very, very versatile.
Very easy, you're right. Very easy to place, actually. So all the movement that we can have with these clips, and when you find the perfect location, all you need to do is secure by, screwing up this.
Second reason is the size. I mean, you'll find an ideal location pretty much anywhere because they're so small. So if you have a tendency to hit, your microphones with your drumsticks, chances are you're not going to be hitting these ones because they're super, super compact.
Flo, you brought a good point. I mean, size. Let's not be fooled by the small size of the capsule. These are condenser mic, and they will give you a very, very high level of SPL before breaking up, so don't worry about that. Also, the frequency response is quite flat and quite large, actually, compared to a dynamic mic. So small physical size, a lot of dynamic, a flat frequency response. I mean, it's pretty cool.
That takes me to my third point, is the sound.
Oh, yeah.
The sound is great. So, I mean, it's great for the toms. I mean,
toms and floor.
We've
seen even some drummers use those on snare drums.
On snare as well. Well, you can use multiple mics on the snare. And that's what we're using right now. We'll get to that, I think, now. But yeah, you can use different, especially for recording. Multiple, mics are pretty handy.
We always tell people, musicians and artists, that microphones are tools.
Yes.
And it's up to you to select the proper tools for the sound and the more than sound, the emotion, the feeling of the music that you want to create, actually. So. If we go to the snare drum, actually, right on this side, what we are using right now is a standard setup. We're using the top of the snare microphone is an SM57. And you can place it, you can change the placement of the mic depending on what type of impact and sound and resonance that you wish to pick up with the mic. So closer the microphone is to the skin, actually, you will get a lot of head resonance. You will get a lot of overtones. If that's what you want, well, this is a great place to put the mic. But if you move the mic away from the skin and aim it towards the center, you get more attack from the stick hitting the head. So it's a question of selecting the type of sound that you want.
Right.
We use a bottom microphone to mic the bottom of the snare to get the spring sound into the mix. Again, the sound engineer during a live concert or the recording engineer will mix both microphones, again, to your preference.
Exactly, to get the ideal sound.
You got it. Being on the manufacturer side, we often question ourselves, what are drummers, musicians, but in this instance, drummers, are looking into when they select microphones? What are they looking for? What kind of sound? What is the main criteria that will have you select one mic over the other?
Absolutely. I'll tell you basically what I like to hear. Okay. When I have like a headset on, or even earplugs, there's a little bit more bottom end that comes
Okay.
that comes in, and I find that, and I like to hear the sustain of, like, say, the toms.
Okay.
The toms to me have to sound nice and round and warm.
They have to sing almost.
They have to sing,
Yes.
right? The floor toms are a little bit looser. The rack toms are a little bit tighter, and I like to hear that, right?
Okay.
That sustain. So for the toms, I like that. And so what I look for in a drum sound is kind of like what I hear inside a headset or with earplugs when I play.
Okay.
The snare, it's got to be cranked up. Not too much coils, not too much springs. So almost in between, without any springs and with a tight spring tension, and it's got to be cranked up. For rebound purposes, and also just so it cuts through the mix.
Okay.
I like to hear that. Bass drum, it's the best of both worlds. So I like the attack, and I like the woof, like you say, the bottom edge, right?
This is drummer talk.
This is drummer talk. And we capture that with 2 mics, but we can also capture it with the new 91A with the EQ function as well. So yeah, I like to hear, you know, basically a drum that sounds like it would if you had a headset on or you know, a good pair of earplugs. One last word to any upcoming artist or musician, and it's really quick and very brief. There's no real secret to anything. It's all about the time that you put into it. So practice and have a positive attitude, and especially if you want to get gigs and work with other people in the future, be very, very, very positive and try to work on your attitude. Sometimes a good attitude pays off more than good skills. So try to be a positive person in general, and things will come to you.